pulls me in. And I didn't realize what's happening. It's a men's conference. I got his arm wrapping me in. And I turn around, and it's him.
Yeah.
I've never seen him since then. This is the last time I saw him. And we're in the middle of, like, praise and worship going on. And he just, grabs me real close. And he goes, dude, he's like, I had no idea. He goes, you saved my marriage. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Take the World podcast, where it's all about marriage, relationships, and parenting. I'm Blake.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we're so glad that you decided to tune in with us today. Welcome to episode 26.
No way.
Let's go.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
We're getting
26.
pretty good at this. Hey, listen, we got a couple things we can talk about, but there's been a whole lot going on in the news today. My goodness.
There's been so much. Like, I was literally sitting here as like we were getting everything set up, and I was just like thinking about everything that's going on right now. It's crazy.
So just a quick recap. I'm assuming everyone kind of knows what's going on. Just a quick recap, Kelsey.
Get
this fired up.
I feel bad because I feel like I'm a little late to the news game a lot of the times. So obviously California is like on fire.
Yeah.
Like so much of the state has wildfires happening right now, and lots of people are having to evacuate. I just saw this little video of, I can't remember how to pronounce the name of the town,
Palisades.
Palisades, thank you. Sorry. I've only been to California once. Anyway, the Palisades, and it literally showed footage of like downtown, and like there's nothing. It's just ash.
Yeah.
It's just ash. Like it's something straight out of a movie. Like I'm just, no pun intended, because literally Hollywood's like on fire too.
Yeah, and look, there's so much going on, and we've got what's actually happening with the fire. As of a couple hours ago, I was starting to see some pretty, I won't say intense, but there's a lot more reports happening of insurance companies that have been canceling families' fire insurance out there, so they're finding out in the middle of this crisis that they don't have insurance for their house. In the meantime, we still had an incident that took place. We still had victims up in North Carolina, and some of them are feeling as though the attention that's being given to what's going on in California is not comparable to what happened in North Carolina, and they're still in recovery mode. So there's a whole lot of just news and information, but ultimately at the heart of all this is there are a lot of families right now that are losing their homes, that are experiencing potentially or probably their worst day ever. And so our point talking about it as a marriage, family, parenting podcast was, one, to just kind of have a moment, recognize what's going on, but then also we wanted to just take a second and pray for them real quick before we jump over into our other stuff. So Kelsey, will you just pray over them real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, you are gracious, you are kind. Lord, you are our comforter in need. Lord, I just pray over every family that is being affected by this fire now, Lord. I just pray for your peace to surround them. Lord, I pray for your comfort to be with them. Lord, I just thank you that this evil thing of this fire coming and just destroying so much, God, Lord, that you are not the cause of it, Lord, but you can still work it for your good. We can still see good come from this. We can still see victory in this terrible tragedy, God. And Lord, again, I just lift up the families. Lord, I pray that this is a time where they come together, that people come together, that there's unity, that there's community. Father, Lord, that all division must bow its knee right now. Lord, all strife, all bitterness must bow its knee. And Lord, that we come together to help those in need, all for your glory, God. In your name, amen.
Amen. So we had that going on. Obviously, it's a big news thing. In the middle of that, it's a significant day in America because we laid one of our former presidents to rest. Yeah. And I mention that because, not to get into the politics of things, what you did or didn't think of Jimmy Carter. He was president before I was born.
Way before we were born.
Obviously, I know a lot of people who were around that time. They have opinions, one way or the other. But it's significant in American history. But more importantly, I was watching a speech that his grandson gave today.
Really?
And one of the things that I think is interesting, at least in my lifetime. So in my lifetime, we've laid President Reagan to rest.
Yep.
President Ford. Trying to think of who else would have been. Maybe when I was a child, but I don't.
H.W. Bush is still alive, right?
Oh, sorry. No. H.W. Bush
Yeah.
did get laid to rest, but I feel like there was another one when I was growing up, but I don't remember who it was. So there's a few that I remember, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a significant moment. But all of those, I feel like, regardless of what you think about Jimmy Carter's politics, his life as a family man seems to have quite a reputation. And
Really?
even the speech his grandson gave today, like I watched most of it, and you could just tell. I mean, as a 100-year-old man, his grandsons are more than full-grown men.
Okay.
But the love and affection that they had for their grandfather and the role that he had and the simplistic approach to life that Jimmy and his wife took and just, what it meant for now multiple generations. I think it's worth just taking a second and admiring that.
Yeah.
Given a lot of the topics that we
legacy.
talk about, the legacy that he seems to
Family
build,
legacy, yeah.
the unity that seems to be taken. Now, grant it's in front of a camera, and I get it, but there does seem to be a level of authenticity to the Carter family that I think is pretty admirable, and especially given what he did for a long amount of time as far as being a politician.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily something
Well,
that
you
see.
think about, at least the politicians that you see and stuff, like, you see some of them, like, really sacrifice their family for ambition, if you will.
Or just the wear and tear of the
Or
job.
just the wear and tear of what they do. And, like, to come out of, a lifetime of being a politician and to have your family intact, but also to have your family, like, admire you in such a way, I think that speaks volumes.
I think it does speak volumes. And so I actually gone through and I earmarked, there's a couple books on Jimmy Carter I've earmarked for my read later.
We're kind of nerds. We like to read.
Because now I'm curious.
Yeah,
It's saved in my book app now.
Honestly, this is so bad. I don't remember much about Jimmy Carter. Like, obviously, I learned about him in, like, history class briefly, I think.
Yeah.
But the thing I remember about Jimmy Carter is that he was alive during the Miracle Hockey movie.
That's all you remember?
And that I remember them doing in the movie, they, like, had a clip of his speech, like a speech that he gave. And it was, like, them playing football at Christmas. And, like, the speech, like, I remember the key words that stuck out to me in the speech was that he said something like, we had hoped that our kids would see better times than what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but it was like, but they're not.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, like, I just remember that sticking out to me of, like, I think that's every parent's hope is to build something that is better for your kids.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, that just struck me that he was, like, admitting the fact that, like, hey, we're in times where we didn't want this for our kids. And so, I don't know, it just kind of gives you, like, that forward-thinking focus of, like, okay, like, it's more than just this moment.
Yeah.
What am I building for the future? What am I building not just for, like, my children, but, like, future generations, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. Like, so it just kind of, it allows you to feel the weight of your decisions in a kind of a weighty manner. Like, the decisions I make now have an effect on more than just me, but the lives that come after me. And so what am I going to do with that responsibility,
Jeez. Yeah.
Anyway, just made me think about it. And I don't know, like, after what you said, I didn't get to listen to his speech. I'm going to have to go listen to his grandson's speech now. But, like, it makes me think that he was thinking about that, too.
I'll send it to you. It was pretty, and just the way his overall, how his family speaks of him.
Yeah.
I think that matters. And by all accounts, and again, I'm intrigued. I want to find out a little bit more, but it seems like it was a life well lived, regardless of the politics.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that for myself, so I don't get into the political.
I know. I was like, please, babe, don't go political with this.
Anyway,
speaking of family and how they do you.
This was literally a series of events. As I was kind of prepping for when we were getting ready to record this, I was going through a couple of different news feeds, and so as I was going through those, and I came across what's going on in California, and then I came across with President Carter. Then this next thing popped up that literally dropped today on Newsweek. It's an article that dropped on Newsweek, and the headline reads, "Pregnant woman backed for banning husband from visiting parents at 31 weeks." And so I'm gonna put the link in the show description, but just check this out, okay?
Okay.
So it's a thing that's going around on Reddit titled "Am I the Family Channel?" So I won't say the last part.
Yep.
If I don't want my husband to go for overseas trip to see his parents when I will be 31 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
And so it goes on to kind of share what's been going as far as her article going viral and stuff like that. But she said, my husband was working overseas and planned to come before delivery for her first one. But due to Australia border being shut, I'm assuming at the time of COVID, he was unable to come. And after a year and a half apart, we finally reunited and he got to hold our firstborn. Now pregnant with their second child, the woman has kept it private from everyone except her immediate family and in-laws. Her parents are planning to travel from overseas to support her starting at 30 weeks.
Wait, her parents?
Her parents
Okay.
are coming to support her at 30 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
But her husband wants to take a 10-day trip abroad to visit his parents at 31 weeks pregnant, and she is strongly opposed to the idea. Adding to the frustration, she mentioned that even her husband's mother has discouraged him from making the trip. Despite this, he remains intent on going. And she wrote, I feel after last time missing the pregnancy and delivery of our firstborn, it should be him not wanting to go instead of me having to ask. And this article in Newsweek, and again, I'll put it in the description for today's episode, goes on. They quote some more research and some psychologists that are kind of getting into some of the details. But you and I have been down the pregnancy route a couple of times.
Wait. I think there's a significant part of the article that you're missing.
Which part?
About the mother-in-law?
I don't think there's any more that said about the
No,
mother-in-law.
I think there is. I thought I read in the article that the mother-in-law was actually planning to come visit after the baby was born. Like, his parents are planning on coming to visit them after the baby's born, and his mom is even saying, like, don't come.
Yeah, no, I did read that part where the mom's saying don't come.
Okay.
But he's already planned this trip, so he's going. So you and I have been down the pregnancy road a few times.
4 times, technically.
4 times.
Yes.
Put yourself in her shoes. Mm-hmm. What is your immediate reaction? Remember, this is a family.
Do you want the pregnant Kelsey answer or the non-pregnant Kelsey answer?
Let's go with non-pregnant. So let's not scare everybody. Let's go with non-pregnant Kelsey answer first.
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Because?
Do
you feel like most women would agree with that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think, even outside the circumstances, like the extenuating circumstances.
Extenuating circumstances?
Sorry.
I got you.
Of like their firstborn, like, I'm about to have a baby. I don't want you out of the country. I don't want you out of the state, really. Like, I'm trying to remember if you ever traveled when I was that pregnant. I don't think you did.
No, I think I was away for a week, but it was like first trimester, first pregnancy, I think. Maybe?
Where would you have gone?
No, I take that back. That was after he was born.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean, like, we've always worked together pretty much, and
It's made it easier.
Yeah, but no, like, why would you? I don't understand any of. I don't understand any of his perspective. I have to be honest. Like, not only is she pregnant, but she's like nearing the 3rd trimester.
Yeah.
You already missed the birth of your first child because you were in another country.
Not just the birth, was gone.
A birth and a year and a half.
Was gone for a year and a half.
I would be there for every moment.
Yeah.
Like, why would you? And then, not to mention the fact that, like, your parents are coming a few weeks later than your trip. So, like, you can't say that your reason is, well, I need to see my parents. Well, they're literally planning to come see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I hate to say this. Maybe this is too many of the drama TV shows that I like to watch sometimes, but I'm like, okay, what else is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to go to the other country for, like, 10 days? Like, is there something else going on here?
I
don't know.
No, see.
I know.
So you're
I know.
no, I don't think it's that. I think, here's my opinion.
Yes, please tell me as the
So,
husband.
in full disclosure, right? Like, the route that you and I took, we took natural childbirth, midwife approach for all 4 pregnancies, right?
Yes.
So we have a very unique perspective. Do it that what you want. It is my opinion that there are. How do I say that? I don't know if I can say this in a way that's like
Politically correct?
nice or nuanced or like.
Nice?
I think. Well, I'm trying to like. Look, I think that most men are just completely oblivious to the actual weight, the at times danger, and the extreme circumstances that go into a child being born. I think men are flat out ignorant of it. I think it's indicative of the fact that especially if you go a more traditional route with the hospital now, the role of the man in helping with that entire process has been completely downgraded. We went a different
Yeah.
approach. It's my opinion. I mean, the classes I had to go through just with our first one.
Yeah, we had
And
like, was it like
so-
6 weeks class? 6
Correct.
weeks?
And
Something like
so I think that most men need to be able to go through that class because those classes singularly changed my opinion altogether. Is our dog coming over? Apparently
that?
he's
Yeah,
crashing the
he has
podcast.
opinions as well.
Apparently he's watching. You got opinions on this? I think that because I know for a fact that for me those classes completely changed my perspectives
Really? Okay.
in terms of exactly what you were going to be going through. And
So you think like the like detail that they went into to understand?
I
or?
think there's enough men like, you're just going in the hospital, doctors will get you taken care of. We're going to go in, have the baby, be in the hospital a couple of days, you'll be fine. It's not that big a deal. Everyone does it. And I think that there is a level of just flat out ignorance. Now, that's not knowing all the other circumstances. I don't know, I don't know all the nuances
Yeah,
of the
for sure.
relationship. I can tell you in conversations I've had, you've seen this with guys. I've had husbands that have come to me that their wives have wanted to do a midwife approach, and I've straight up told the husband, "You're not ready," because he does not know what he's getting himself into. But then we've also had conversations with couples that were having their first kid, and I had to help. I talked with the husband a little bit because they were under the assumption that they could just sit in the room, play on their PlayStation, and wait till the very end. And that's all well and good, but that's a really rough way to start your new season as parents.
Yeah.
And it's really, well, in my opinion, I think it's a piss poor approach to getting ready to welcome a child. No, I do because it sets the standard. Like it sets expectations. It sets standards. It sets expectations for your wife when you're haphazard about what in that moment for most women is the most significant moment in their life up until that point. If you're getting ready to have a child, that's a huge moment, if not the most significant moment. And if your spouse, your partner, your husband, your leader of your family is just twiddling his thumbs, completely disengaged, that's going to mess some things up. And you're delusional if you think it's not. Guys don't get a free pass because we're not the ones going through labor. There's work to be done. There's work that should be done. And if you're not sure what that is or what that needs to look like, then there needs to be conversations. There needs to be a level of proactive engagement in helping your spouse.
Yeah.
You remember there. Anyways, I'll let you
No,
go.
no,
I'll
go
keep
ahead.
going.
What were
I
you
keep
gonna say?
going.
No,
Like,
go ahead.
I remember there was one time I was having I just happened to be having coffee with a total stranger. There's another person that brought that we were the reason why we were there, right? And we were kind of talking business a little bit, and the third guy there I'd never met before in my life, and they were getting ready to have their first kid, and they were going midwife approach, which is what we did.
Yeah.
And I just, we kind of wrapped up the business conversation. I just started asking questions. How you doing? You taking your classes? He goes, yeah, I've been to one or two of them. I was like, dude, you need to take all the classes. You just need to be prepared. I said, have you looked at a doula for your wife? He goes, what's a doula? If you have no idea what a doula is, it's basically your wife's best friend. Okay, that's all you need to know. And honestly, if you get a good one, they're gonna be your best friend during labor. And so, I asked him, he's like, no, we just don't have the money for it. And I was asking questions about how his wife was doing mentally and that's a big thing. Like guys, like you gotta understand, it's as much a mental thing as physical for women. And so I was asking I could just get the sense that his wife was already nervous. And I was like, listen,
Oh
man.
yeah, any
I was
woman
like,
is.
listen, dude,
with their first child.
if you've got the extra cash, go get your wife a doula. And he goes, you serious? I said, listen, man. And I told him how our doula helped me. I mean, we went through some stuff.
We had a traumatic first birth. Yeah.
Traumatic first birth. And I mean, it was hard even for me. Nothing compared to you by any means. But there was literally a moment where our doula came over, kind of threw her arm around me, helped me, and we got in and took care of you. And I just shared that with him. I said, I'm telling you right now, man, you need to stop talking to me about business. You need to text your wife and tell her you're getting a doula. He texts his wife right there. She calls him. He picks up the phone, I'm sitting right there, and she is in tears thanking him. And it was he was completely oblivious to her needing it beforehand.
Yeah.
We left. I didn't think I'd see him ever again. It was just a one and done coffee appointment. 3 or 4 weeks later, we were at a conference. I was walking out of the row at the conference, and all of a sudden, I mean, I'm a pretty small guy. I'm like 5'5". This arm just reaches over and just like pulls me in. I'm like out of nowhere, and this guy's probably 6'2", really pulls me in. And I didn't realize what's happening. It's a men's conference. I got this arm wrapping me in, and I turn around and it's him.
Yeah.
I've never seen him since then. This is the last time I saw him. And we're in the middle of like praise and worship going on, and he just, grabs me real close, and he goes, "Dude," he's like, I had no idea. He goes, "You saved my marriage." And I go, but he meant it jokingly, but at the same time, he was like, "Thank you so much."
Yeah.
And there were so many conversations. Guys were just not aware of the physical and the mental demand that it requires to bring another human being in. And on one hand, it's because there's some things that we can't help with, and I get that. But we have a responsibility to be fully engaged. And if you're not going to be fully engaged, this is such the opposite of fully engaged. This is intentional disengagement and negligence of your wife in one of her most vulnerable seasons ever. We hope you're enjoying this video. If you want to finish this, we want to encourage you, just go right over to our podcast here on our YouTube channel and finish this episode.
Yes, make sure you're also hitting that subscribe button, and you can also check out this video that YouTube is recommending for you as well.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.